Let me tell you about the day I almost tanked my own career over a single sentence. I was early in my career, fresh energy, big ambitions, genuinely excited to prove myself. There was this guy at work, same age as me, easy to talk to, the kind of person who made Monday mornings feel less brutal. We had real chemistry. The kind where conversation just flows and you walk away thinking, yeah, that's my person in this place. One evening, we ended up grabbing drinks. Relaxed setting, good vibes, and at some point the conversation drifted to work. Because of course it did. That's what we had in common. He asked me what I thought of a new supervisor at the office. Someone who was still finding his footing in a leadership role. I said something I genuinely believed was harmless. Something like, he's still growing into the role, still learning the ropes. I wasn't throwing anyone under the bus. I wasn't being malicious. It felt like an honest, friendly observation between two people who trusted each other. Monday morning, I was called into my boss's office. Apparently, first thing that morning, my friend had walked straight into that supervisor's office and told him I had no confidence in him as a leader. Not a paraphrase. A weaponized version of my words, repackaged and delivered with intent. I sat there genuinely stunned. Not just embarrassed, blindsided. Because in my head, we were friends. In his head, apparently, we were just coworkers. And the moment he saw an opportunity to score a point, my trust became his currency. I had to go apologize to a supervisor I hadn't actually disrespected. I had to repair a relationship I hadn't actually broken. And I had to carry that lesson with me for the rest of my career. That lesson? Your coworkers are not automatically your friends. And if you don't learn that quietly, you will learn it loudly. In a meeting, an email, or a conversation you never saw coming. If this is landing for you already, hit that like button and subscribe. I talk about real workplace dynamics that nobody else is willing to say out loud. You're gonna want to stay for all of it. Now here's what makes this so easy to get wrong. When you spend 8+ hours a day with someone, eating with them, stressing with them, surviving the same bad meetings and the same difficult manager, your brain starts to read proximity as loyalty. It feels like closeness. It feels like friendship. And in a lot of ways, it genuinely is warm and real. But closeness and loyalty are two completely different things. Studies back this up in a way that should make all of us pause. Research shows that 58% of employees hear workplace gossip every single week. Nearly half, 47%, say they no longer trust their coworkers with confidential information. And 43% of workers have been the subject of workplace gossip at some point in their careers. These aren't outliers. This is the normal workplace experience for most people. So why do we keep opening up anyway? Because we're lonely. Nearly 40% of US workers say they feel lonely at work. So when someone actually makes you feel seen, when someone gets your humor, shares your frustrations, and nods along like they genuinely understand, of course you lean in. It feels like relief. And in that relief, you start lowering your guard, slowly, almost without noticing. First it's small. You vent a little. You say something honest about your manager. They laugh and match your energy with their own story. The vibes are perfect. So you go a little further. You mention how underpaid you feel, which coworkers you think are doing the bare minimum, which ones you don't trust. And because they're nodding and adding their own receipts, it feels like safety, like it's us versus this place, until one day out of nowhere it isn't. Here's what actually happens in most workplaces. And this is the part nobody warns you about. The same person who was agreeing with everything you said in the break room will become suddenly perfectly professional the moment there's leadership in the room. The same person who was laughing at the manager's decision on Thursday will have a completely different story by Friday morning. Not because they're evil, but because they're protecting themselves. Their image, their promotion, their paycheck. And honestly, from a pure self-preservation standpoint, that makes sense. The problem is that you didn't know that's how they saw it. You thought it was friendship. They filed it under useful information. And here's the thing about office gossip that makes it even more insidious. It's rarely dramatic. Nobody sits you down and tells you they burned you. You just start noticing things. You leave the job and the person you talk to every single day becomes, seen 2 hours ago, no reply. You hit a rough patch, And the person who used to have your back is suddenly quiet, neutral, making sure their name isn't anywhere near yours. That's not a betrayal in the cinematic sense. That's just the system revealing itself. Now let's talk about the specific traps, because they show up in predictable ways once you know what to look for. The first trap is oversharing, and the sneaky thing about oversharing is that it never feels like oversharing in the moment. It feels like honesty. It feels like vulnerability. It feels like connection. But there's a version of yourself you can offer at work. Warm, genuine, funny, present, without performing your full internal experience. You can say, "It's been a stressful week," without walking someone through your complete breakdown. You can be real without handing people the specific words they could use against you later. The second trap is the gossip circle. Every single office has one, and you already know who's in it. You can picture them right now: the lunch table, the group chat, the cluster near the coffee machine. Here's the cold truth: you are who you hang around. Leadership notices which circles people belong to. If you want to move up, and you're consistently seen gravitating toward the people who are always stirring something up, that association follows you. You don't have to be rude. Just get your coffee, say your hellos, and keep it moving. The third trap is alcohol. Work happy hours, team dinners, after-work drinks. These feel like off-the-clock moments. They're not. Anything you say or do in a work-adjacent setting can and does find its way back. Loose lips after 2 drinks have ended. More careers than bad performance reviews. If you're socializing with coworkers, stay present, stay measured, and stay aware of what you're sharing. The fourth trap is competition. You can be close with a coworker for years, and the day you get the promotion they wanted, you'll find out very quickly what kind of close it actually was. Someone who spent months at the water cooler with you, knowing your frustrations and your ambitions and your private opinions, can become a very uncomfortable person to manage if they decide to use what they know. Real friendships survive inequality of outcome. Work friendships often don't. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. Because it's not cynicism, it's strategy. Watch how people handle other people's information. If they're always bringing you someone else's secrets, understand that you are already part of their rotation. If someone says, "Don't tell anyone I told you this, but," know that to someone else, you are that sentence. Watch who people become when there's tension. Anyone can be your friend on a smooth day. The real test is who shows up, or goes quiet, when something is at stake. Let time do the testing. Real loyalty shows up in moments that cost something. The coworkers who didn't pull away when things got difficult, those are worth investing in. The others, keep it professional, keep it cordial, and keep your most vulnerable truths somewhere safer. Because here's the quiet truth: coworkers absolutely can become real friends. Some of the deepest friendships people carry into the rest of their lives started at a desk or on a work floor. But those friendships are built slowly, tested quietly, proven over time, not decided in a single good conversation during a hard week. So the next time you hear yourself thinking, "It's fine, I can tell them anything," pause. Ask yourself, have they actually proven that? Or have you just decided it because it felt good to believe? Protect your peace. Protect your mouth. Protect the version of you that doesn't have to sit across from a manager and realize, too late, that you handed someone the exact words they used against you. Your coworkers are not automatically your friends. Learn it here, so you don't have to learn it somewhere that costs you.